Anyway, let us start with worst to first for the features. The first and the worst is VHS Beyond. I'm not going to list a bunch of filmmakers because each of these segments is by a different filmmaker. Um, and you can look all that up if you want. If you know the basic concept of the VHS movies, they are found footage basically. They are horror. They are almost always like based around some vintage time period, like I just mentioned, a year or some sort of a theme like that. And then they usually are trying to kind of give a VHS aesthetic. So they kind of have the broken up, grungy, staticky, jumpy kind of look for the media on top of the found footage aesthetic, which of course just makes it extra um, un-high def looking. So this one, the theme doesn't seem to be years. The theme seems to be aliens. So it's basically all the quote episodes, all the parts of the anthology are all based around UFOs, some kind of a horror UFO interaction. Um, so that's interesting, I guess. And then on top of that, you've got, what would I say? Let's see. On top of that, there is kind of a downside, and that is I don't think the VHS per se um, idea quite works because sometimes I feel like most of them are probably pretty modern. And it's not even very clear if some of them are supposed to be on VHS. I think some of them are supposed to be like GoPros, which is fine. I mean, it just doesn't, the VHS name doesn't quite work as much anymore, but I guess I just kind of went with it. So why is this the lowest today? I think probably here, as I think that even though this is more fast paced than some of the other kind of ones in the series, and definitely gory, it has gore throughout. So I think if you're just looking for fast paced, quick, easy horror, popcorny, lots of gore, you'll probably like this okay. I mean, you might love it. But for me, it's just, I mean, what I liked about some of the things in the series is they really gave you, sometimes there'd be an element of really surprising, cool attempts at sort of short films, basically. And this one, I feel like almost everything is kind of middle of the road. So it doesn't, I don't hate it, but I just didn't love it. I'll just quickly tell you the kind of my takes on the ones in this movie very quickly. The first, well, there's a wraparound story, which is about this house, and there may have been things going on there in the past. And there's these two tapes that were left behind. Maybe aliens came in there, and it's kind of done as a faux, sort of a documentary, kind of like a paranormal activity kind of documentary kind of a thing. That one's kind of here nor there. It's not much happens in it, um, but it's just a wraparound tie up story they have usually in these. The next one is basically you got this kind of paramilitary police force going to invade this house because there's been this series of kidnappings of like infants, and once they get in the house, it essentially becomes like a first-person video game zombie shooter kind of a thing. It's probably the goriest and most over the top. So if you like that kind of thing, this might be your favorite one. Although to me, it's just kind of repetitive. Lots of shotgun blasts, lots of zombie-ish type of things. The only time it gets really interesting is towards the end of it. We do see a creature that's the alien creature, and that's kind of cool. I wish they would have played on that way quicker and made it kind of the whole point of the story. So it's fine. Sorry, crunch, crunch. There's my papers. The next story is like these paparazzi in India, and they're trying to kind of get the scoop on this pop star actress diva kind of character, and they're kind of getting the behind the scenes shoot on her movie filming, and they get in there, and then she becomes something that you weren't expecting. And that one was pretty lame, I thought. The effects to me weren't great. The story was pretty lame, probably one of the weakest of the bunch. The next one was probably the best, and it was skydivers. And it was these skydivers in a plane, and as they're out getting ready to all jump out of the plane, a UFO shows up. And so you get it following the UFO kind of interacting with the plane, and then as they're falling, stuff is happening, and once they get to the ground, stuff happens. And I say that one is the most kind of innovative and fun and energetic. And if it had all been at that level, I'd probably be 4 stars for this whole thing. As it is, not most of them aren't that level. Oh, the next one was probably the second best, and that was it was like kind of a real high camp thing, Doggy Dream House, which I've already forgotten. It doesn't tell you a good thing, but kind of like there's these PETA-like characters, and they want to infiltrate this woman's. She has this like doggy daycare video thing that she does, but in the background they can see that she's preserved like her pets, like basically stuffed her pets, and they think this lady, having captive pets and having these pets stuffed, she's terrible. So as PETA kind of activists, they're going to infiltrate, pretend to be dog owners that want to leave their dog with her, and then they're going to reveal what she's up to. Although she's played as a super, super overly friendly, saccharine kind of character, so almost like like the main character in Misery or something. And then when they get in there, things go really sideways, and it's absurd but kind of fun what they do with it. Some people this might be their favorite. Um, there is some stuff in it that's pretty fun. I would say that one's almost up to the Skydiver one, and then the last one is a woman who's kind of on her own in the desert, kind of in a area 51. 51? Do I even got the number right? Oh my God. She's out there trying to investigate UFO sightings, and she sees one, and she finds a UFO, and she goes into it, which, oh my gosh, go into a UFO that's sitting on the ground doesn't seem like a great idea. It's not. That one's a little bit trippy, but it doesn't really go anywhere. So overall, I just can't really recommend this one. And if you have nothing to do and it's on your streaming service, which I think it's coming to Shudder, sure, give it a try. But it's to me, it's a weak member of the lineup. I'd probably say 2.5 stars overall, with some variation in the individual stories, like I mentioned.